What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So we're down at the shop and I got something pretty cool to show you today. We got the 2019 Mustang GT here, 10R80 car, Trace's car, the one with the stage 2 Whipple on it. Now, if you remember, guys, this is a car that broke an engine. It broke a piston, with the Whipple. He had to replace it with a Livernoise engine. He's running a Lund tune in it. It's got free-flowing exhaust, and the car put down some good numbers. But the owner of the car is looking to step it up, and today we're going to put a killer chiller in it. So let me bring you inside the shop. Let me show you what it's like to put a killer chiller on 2019 Mustang. Okay, everybody, so we're getting started on Howler right here. You can see we got the mechanics here. That's Shaggy and Adam getting ready to install a killer chiller. We got Joe right here.
How's it going?
What's happening, Joe?
Not too much.
And here we have the hardware. Now, you can see right here, this is the dual system. This was the first system that I bought for my car that I decided not to use, okay, because there was an upgraded system available. Now, that doesn't mean that this system is a bad system, guys. It'll work just about as good, only it's a little bit more complicated to install. That's the one that's going to go into Howler. Now, here's another thing that's a little different than the situation that I had with my car. We use compression fittings in this AC line right here to install the T-port for the killer chiller. But here, we got one from Joe Kincaid over at Killer Chiller that has a welded-in T-piece bung, if you will. This is a prefabricated line that comes with the new kits. It is available at an extra cost, but it's worth it to get this because there will not be any leaks with this kit. So you can see we have a new drag valve that came with this new kit. This little guy right here is a holding tank. This is very much like the holding tank that is not installed in my car that I will be installing soon, but Howler is going to get it the first time around. This is roughly 1 gallon capacity. It's about 4 inches in diameter, and it's about 1 foot long. And this should help maintain capacity when you're full throttle and the AC compressor kicks off. But you can see we got all the hardware, everything is here, and these guys are hard at work, and we're going to see this killer chiller get installed.
So we should be okay.
All right, everybody, so we're well on our way. Adam's been working on the car for a little while. You can see we got the heat exchanger out, and it's right down here on the floor. Here's what the standard heat exchanger looks like. It's relatively thin, it's not very big. This killer chiller is going to be a major upgrade for this car. Okay, so at this point along the installation process, you can see the heat exchanger has been removed and the front bumper has been removed. Okay, there's all the hardware on the table, and Shaggy and Adam are over here drilling the bumper where they're going to mount the killer chiller, and then they're going to put it back up. And then the tank is the other thing that's going to be mounted in here. It's going to be very interesting to see how we do it. This is really cool. I think this is going to be very helpful for anybody who wants to install a killer chiller.
I'm almost there. The supercharger and AC lines.
So Cletus might have McFarlane Fab, but here we have Shaggy Engineering. You see this guy right here? And that guy Adam? Look at the work they're doing.
So we could reuse that one. You want to space them out?
All right, everybody, while those guys are working on the killer chiller install, I couldn't help but notice this. You see this car up on the lift right here? I don't know, this is a 2-valve. It still has the stock engine in it, really, but it came in for some differential work. See that right there? So down here is the stock stuff. This is the stock gear. I heard it was making a lot of noise. There's the stock traction lock. It was slipping like crazy, and they decided to change it out. So this 2-valve now, if you look at it, all right, these guys are working on it. Now they're going with a 373 rear, and this differential here. This is an Eaton True Track.
Oh, no,
Interesting looking piece. Look at that. That's pretty cool. And then they're going to strengthen it up down here. We got a set of strange axles that are going in it, and this 2-valve is going to get a centrifugal supercharger. I haven't heard exactly which one they're going to put in, but this car is also going to get a blower. Pretty cool stuff.
Okay. Tilt it to one end. Dump all the shards out of it. Maybe I can blow it out for now. Yep. Okay. We will use the bike bolts.
Easy and breezy. goes back. All right, so here's what it looks like with all the hardware mounted. You can see the holding tank there. You can see the dual system for the killer chili here. None of the hoses are on. The Freon lines are not hooked up yet. They're gonna get to that next. And as we look at this, it just brings up a thought that I've had several times. Look at this beautiful Gen 2. I showed you this before. This car here has the Vortec on it, and it has the air-to-air intercooler down there. Replace that with a air-to-water intercooler, add a killer chiller to it, and this thing will probably pick up 40 to 50 more horsepower. So speaking of air-to-water intercoolers, guys, take a look at this. I showed you this car before. This is Joe's 3-valve. This is a car that puts down over 1,000 to the rear wheels with its 3-valve. Okay, nothing really special about the engine, but it's got a big 84mm turbo on it right here, single turbo. And we'll look at what it has right here. This is an air-to-water intercooler. This is a big son of a gun, you know, for this race car. This is actually supplemented by an ice tank, not a killer chiller, but it could very easily be, you know, cooled with a killer chiller. Now, this is not the only cooling device that's used in this car. In the back here, we have a transcooler. This is a cooler that is used with the ice tank, right, to cool the transmission fluid. See that box right there? That's a fluid to water cooler for the transmission. So if you had a killer chiller on the car, you could do just the same thing. Just replace the ice tank with the killer chiller. It's an awesome setup. Okay guys, so the killer chiller has been installed. Let's get in there and take a close look. Okay guys, take a look. The killer chiller has been completely installed. You can see right there, there's the holding tank that comes with the Whipple. There's the intercooler pump. But you can see here, there's our holding tank. It's been mounted vertically, and here's the killer chiller system. Now this is the old style dual system. You can see the way it's hooked up. This one right here, the first one, is the one with the thermostat that controls the temperature. Okay, the water flows through the pump, through the tank, through these two killer chillers, out that one, out to the manifold, and then out to the blower, to both sides of the blower. The fluid gets split and feeds both sides of the blower. But 5-Bar did a great job. You can see there's the high pressure fuel line that feeds the killer chillers. Okay, nice clean install, and it's looking really good. Okay, so there it is. The killer chiller has been installed. We're gonna put the car in the dyno now. But before I show you the current dyno figures, let me show you what the car did last time before we put the killer chiller on it. All right, see what we got. All right, we picked up a load of torque. We're up to 515 with correction and 618 horsepower corrected. Now guys, I just want to show you. It's a much cooler day here today. We're just at about 75 degrees. And we're pulling some pretty good numbers here. Well, there it is, guys. Last time around, before we put the killer chiller on it, it made 691 horsepower to the rear wheels. We put the killer chiller on it. That's all we did. Now we're going to put it on a dyno and see what it does now. All right, guys, we're going to do a pull. Let's see what our AIAT ones are.
There we go.
What do you got there, Joe?
106.
106. Okay. You guys can see it. 106 on the inlet taps at the mass air meter. And let's check to see what we have here. Okay, chiller's doing his job. All right, Joe, hit it.
let's see what we got.
All right, looks like we're making power, 647. Add 12% to that. This thing is looking pretty badass.
724.
Much better than the, what was it, 617 that we did the last time around?
Yep.
And the, I mean, we're a little cooler here today than we were last time, but not much. That's a lot of power just from a killer chiller. All right, everybody, so here's the comparison between the pull that we just did with the killer chiller in it versus the pull that we did when we first tuned it without the killer chiller. And you can see with the killer chiller, we made significantly more power. Last time around, we made 617 horsepower on the Mustang dyno, and today with the chiller, we did 647. Dyno jet estimations are 691 versus today's runs at 725. So you can see the killer chiller does a lot of work. It makes a lot of power. It's looking really good, Joe.
Oh yeah,
what do you think?
For sure. I mean, especially look at the temperature. We were 72 degrees before on the old run, 87 today. The pressure and humidity is about the same, but yeah, not too bad.
Okay. All right, well, there you have it, guys. Throw a killer chiller on your car, and you're going to make at least an extra 30 horsepower. Pretty good. Well, there it is, guys. The proof is in the dyno numbers. An extra 30 horsepower just by putting the killer chiller on the car. Now, nothing else has changed in the car. It's got the same Lund tune in it. Dakota from Lund tuned this car a couple of months ago. Nothing has changed. It's got the same tune in it, same fuel, same dyno, same everything. The only thing we changed was the killer chiller, and we made an extra 30 horsepower. So it just goes to show you these killer chillers really work. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Yeah.